when I was drinking, I was probably angry like a 60%. I'm not a fan of people saying like, so if I did it, you can do it. That's bullshit. Oh, focus on my face. Come on. All right. Welcome back to Getting Sober, ... Again, my name is Jay, and today we're going to talk about anger and emotional issues. But first, what am I going to say? If you wouldn't mind, please subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button and leaving a comment. Those three things are the best for all YouTubers, for YouTube to continue showing our videos. It's a really simple recipe. And then also too, I'm going to point out something. Some people have been asking me about making donations to the channel and being able to support and patronize the channel or patron the channel. And you could do so by donating to my new Venmo business account, which is Venmo. At Venmo, it's Getting Sober Again, all one word. And maybe you'll be the first person to make a donation, because today I've made a grand total of $0, but it's only been up for like, I don't know, three days or something like that. So that'd be awesome. And that's gonna be the end of announcements. Look at that, 1 minute and 17 seconds. That is the quickest amount of announcements that I've ever made, but that will be something moving forward. I'll always make announcements in the beginning and some changes and some things that are on my mind, like today's weather was awesome, thank you. And that's that, so end of announcements. Okay, officially 1 minute and 34. So anger issues. I had somebody messaged me, sent me an email also too. If you wanna send me an email, you can email me at gettingsoberagain@gmail.com. So some people don't really want to blow up the comment section, which doesn't mean to not send a comment, or, leaving a comments are still very helpful. More so for like the algorithm and quick bursts of, hey, how you doing? This is what I'm doing. This is my update or whatever. But if you want to email something that's a little bit more sensitive and you don't want to put your business out there, if you want to send, some people like send pictures, or they send like, with sending like memes back and forth, or like inspirational quotes, or like links to, whatever, YouTube resources. That's another thing that's kind of a bummer about YouTube, is like we can't send links back and forth. I can't send like, oh, I found this article helpful, because then you can't click on it. Like YouTube doesn't like, it doesn't like pointing outside of YouTube. It wants to keep you inside of YouTube. But in case you've ever wondered about that, like YouTube doesn't want you going out externally. So anyway, but that's enough about that. If you want to email me, you can do that, and I will try my best to get back to you. So, okay, end of announcements, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So anger issues, you've had them, I've had them. They call, they talk about angry drunks, right? Some people are angry drunks, and then some people are just, emotional wrecks, and you get the sobbing, crying drunks, and then sometimes you have just like the extremely happy drunks. And it's either way, whatever the emotion is, we know that alcohol is a mood enhancer, right? And then it also includes negative moods, unfortunately. It'd be nice if we could just limit it to just work on the happy emotions, right? But it doesn't do that exactly. Sometimes it does. And sometimes if we're having a good day and we drink, everything's great, then we end up having sometimes a better time until that high kind of wears off. And so somebody emailed me earlier today saying that it's been noticeable between them and their partner, and that things are not good at home, and they are noticeably angrier. I think not just to themselves, but to their spouse, or to their partner, I should say, and to maybe it's probably leaking into the professional life, I'm guessing, I'm not really sure, maybe with their other friends and family. But with drinking, like what ends up happening for most of us, which is why it's hard to quit and why we end up having to get sober, ... again, is because almost every day you can get drunk every day. At least once a day. I always personally had a hard time, I don't know about you, comment below, but I always had a hard time with drinking and then like getting drunk and then getting drunk again later on that day. It was always kind of impossible for me. I don't know about you, but I knew that if I wanted, like, if I went out for brunch, like say on the weekend or whatever, if I went day drinking with my friends, and then our plan was to go out later that night, I would always think like, oh crap, I used my drunk token, my one drunk token for the day. I already used it at brunch. I can't get drunk again. Even if I go home and take a nap or whatever, I still wouldn't be able to get get my buzz, get my dopamine release. Which, you might say like, well, that's not, sounds like you were using and abusing. Well, I mean, I was. That's why I made this channel, right? And that's why you're watching. So, but, I getting angry, it's like when we have the, sorry, I'm fixing my light. When we have the anger issues, we get that little, that dopamine spike. We get that dopamine release and we feel really nice. And then, our brains are wired to go back and get the thing to make us feel good again, whether it be like salt or sugar or fat, or something that is flooding our brain full of serotonin or dopamine or, whatever it may be. Our brain is wired to do what? Get it again, right? So with alcohol, because we're intelligent and stupid at the same time, and we know that we're not going to have, there's no, but I don't know if you're different. I don't think you're different. I'm also a human being. If you're not a human being, comment below. But for us, when we drink, you get that awesome first spike. And then like a roller coaster, you go to the roller coaster, the second hill is usually, the second hill is not usually the big one. The big one's usually the first one. So I'd always had that visual in my mind, and maybe that'll help you, was that with drinking, it was never I knew the second one wasn't going to be as good as the first one. But boy, would I try, and so would you. I'll just try, like maybe I can get back to that. We'd chase the dragon, so to speak, right? But just like the first, from what I hear, the first sniff of cocaine or whatever other drugs that you use, the first high is always the best high. And then we chase that feeling. We want that flood in our brain. We want to feel good, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good. Let's clarify that. Right? We shouldn't be shamed to want to feel good, right? Nobody should have to live through a life of suffering and misery, and that'll be a whole nother topic, which I did plan on, right? I have so many topics. I have so many topics in so little time, but that's gonna be one of the topics for the future. And but going back to the anger issues, it's like when we get that dopamine release, and we get that nice buzz, we sit down at the happy hour and we see our friends, and it's like, I'm also off work. Look at all of us off work, and we don't have to answer anybody. We could just be whatever we want to be. Some people are school teachers, some people are doctors, lawyers, some people are just, drug dealers, whatever you do for a living. And you all sit there in commonplace, and you get to watch the TV and joke and make fun and do whatever you want to do and socialize, right? But we have that nice, lovely spike, and then the second one, we try to get it back again, and and then it kind of falls short, and then we try to get it, get it again, and then it doesn't, and then we're just kind of like in this kind of place, and then it actually kind of goes down underground. That's another thing about like roller coasters, and that analogy. Roller coasters, start here and it goes really high, and then you get to the second one, and the third. Roller coasters don't go subground, they don't go underground. That's another thing about that's something about roller coasters in this analogy, but we do go under, and we do start to feel negative effects of drinking. And for me, maybe you relate to this, but I always felt like disappointed. I felt like really disappointed. I was like, this is cruel. I felt really good. Why can't I just feel this good? And so I would try to feel better. I would try to feel good again, and I would drink some more. And every now and then, that second wave. So you get the first wave, and then the second wave. The second wave was still pretty good. It was still better than my shitty day at work. It was still better than probably the argument I'm gonna get at when I go home to my partner or whatever. It's probably still, the second buzz was still better than whatever I'm gonna have to deal with at work tomorrow. So it's let's not even think about all those reports I have to do, or whatever you do at your job. And then you just kind of keep writing it out until it's now it's I'm not feeling good anymore. I might as well just drink myself tired, drink myself into submission, or whatever it is. Just drinking myself till I'm tired. And that's what I did. That's why I did at the end of the night. It was this is here's phase 3, is drinking till I don't care anymore. And until I stop caring about my friends and my family, and I mean, that wasn't the plan, but to forget about my life, forget about work, and forget about my obligations, and to think about all the things on my to-do list and all that kind of stuff, right? And then so that kind of became disappointing, is that I was not getting the same effects that I was, and I hate to say it, But that's just the truth of the matter. And I think that that's very common for a lot of people that drink, is that like the first time that you had alcohol, well, the first time I had alcohol sucked because I threw up all over the place. but when I was new to drinking, it was like, this is awesome. I can't believe it. Why haven't I been drinking my whole life? And then it was like, and then it just kind of got like a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And it was still, you know, awesome, I guess, for like a decade. Like drinking was great for a decade or so. And then it just wasn't anymore. And then it was just kind of like, I kind of got to the point where it was like, what happened? And that's like, honestly, where I was just like, a lot of just like, I started to ask myself, like, why? Well, how come I don't feel good anymore? Like, I don't feel as good. I remember drinking being more fun than this. And then it was more like maintenance. And that sucks. You know, it's like if you were, you know, if sex became maintenance, which I think is something that happens for people and like in relationships, it's like, okay, all right, hold on, all right, let's just get it out of the way. You know, that type of thing. It's like, that is, you know, that's horrible compared to like making love to a partner or, you know, being in a very romantic or lustful relationship or whatever, you know, being attracted to the other person or whatever. And it's like, hey, I get it, you know, like you got to find new ways to kind of make it interesting. And it's like, I don't want to find new ways to make drinking interesting. It's like, that's when you start introducing other partners to the drinking. It's like, you know, you start bringing in other substances to try to pick it up, try to pick up your mood and try to give you the sedative effects or try to make you feel like socializing the way that you used to. And that's where it kind of became dangerous for me and becomes dangerous for a lot of other people. And I saw a lot of other people also too making these same kind of decisions and making these same kind of decisions that weren't necessarily healthy. Not to say that drinking was healthy in the first place, right? But also too, like I really only, you know, like I don't have any desire to smoke now. Like if I have a cigarette or whatever, if I'll have a cigarette in the future, I don't think I have a smoking problem. But again, what we think, what we believe, what we know, what we feel, what the truth is, are all different things, right? But I think that I could have a cigarette or two and not go buy another pack of cigarettes and be addicted to cigarettes again. But alcohol, I feel like it might be a problem for me. And that's just a personal choice. So like when somebody did ask me today, like, so is there a story behind, you know, why you don't drink or whatever? And I was just like, nope, I just don't drink. And, you know, I may tell that person in the future, like, I didn't tell them I had this channel or whatever else, because it was just, I didn't feel like talking about it at the moment. But I don't drink is good enough, and that should be good enough. And when we talk about anger and all that stuff, I wanted to tell you, I wish I would have said this earlier in the video, because I bet most of you are not watching anymore. That's just, no offense, that's just how people are. But I know that I'm a less angry person. And I know that alcohol definitely made me more angry. If I had to give a percentage wise, on a scale from 1 to 100, when I was drinking, I was probably angry like a 60%. And that's kind of a lot. But still, we'll just say it was 60%. And now that I'm not drinking anymore, like my anger level is like, yeah, sure, if I get cut off in traffic or somebody's like riding me, it's always like traffic related stuff, right? But like, you know, if I had a bad day at work or whatever, or somebody like, you know, somebody didn't pay me, that might make me angry. But percentage wise, when I was drinking, I was let's say 60% angry. And now that I'm not drinking, I'm at probably like, I don't know, 10%. It's like basically a non-issue. Like I can't even think of like reasons why I've been angry to even make it 10%. But that also comes from making a bunch of other personal changes to make sure that like, I don't want any stress. I want zero stress. So donating to that Venmo will make me way less stressed. But I don't want any stress in my life. And you would say like, well, yeah, duh, who wants stress? Nobody wants stress. So I made it an active priority. Like it's something that I work on every day. In addition to, I know that when I exercise, I'm going to feel better. Not only am I going to keep fitting in my clothes, which will, you know, make me less stressed out that I don't have to go wardrobe shopping. Like this sweater is like 15, this thermal is like 15 years old. I'm not joking. Like the jeans that I'm wearing are these boots. Oh, these are different boots. Anyway, who cares? I'm a thrifty person. I want to be able to fit in my same clothes. Exercising makes me feel better. So that is something that I make a priority in my life. there's way too many things competing for our attention. Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime and just regular Amazon is like, hey, here's some suggestions for stuff to buy. And then eBay wants to send you some stuff. And then Pinterest is like, look at all this shit. And Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and just updates and updates and updates. It's all over the place. Everything's always competing for our attention. And then that distracts us from how we really feel and what we are really looking for with regard to what's ultimately going to make us a happier person. So my anger levels have dropped significantly since getting sober. And that's something that like I was praying for. That's something I was like really hoping for. And that one for sure came true. And I'm not going to say like, I'm not a fan. If you know me by now, you know, like I'm not a fan of people saying like, so if I did it, you can do it. That's bullshit. And not everybody's the same. I mean, we are human beings, and I would, you know, you could say, if I could do it, you can do it. But it's like, I don't know what your circumstances are. Like, I don't know if you live in a small town and you work at a factory and you're surrounded by alcoholics. Your path to getting sober is going to be way more difficult than mine. And nothing against factories, nothing against small towns, and nothing against alcoholics, other than those three things are not conducive to a clear path to sobriety. So when we want to get sober, we have to do things like change our environment. And it's not just as simple as removing the bottle from the environment. It's removing you from those environments, and whatever environments that you're going to be in, completely remodeling. Just completely, sometimes you just got to completely bulldoze. If you're going to stay put, you might have to bulldoze the whole thing and build it back up from the ground up, so that we replace all of the the crappy quantity that we've been surrounded with, and replace it with quality. And sometimes too, it's just a matter of just getting out of your environment, just getting completely out of where you're at and just going somewhere else, and removing yourself from the places that, like, yeah, it might be a little bit lonely to go, to stop going to the places that you used to go, like all your friends are there or whatever. But like I was talking about yesterday, like I personally feel better about going to bars and places I used to frequent, because I've now established, I'm more than 4 months sober now. I've established with my friends and family, like I'm sober, and that's what I'm doing. Even the bartenders know, like, Jay's sober. They know, like, when I come in, they bring me the non-alcoholic ginger beer, where before they were bringing me a beer and a tequila, or a White Claw and tequila, or whatever it was. And so we have to make the right decisions. We have to make better decisions, I should say, instead of worse decisions. Those are always the two. It's a better, healthier, and happier way of looking at things, in my opinion. It's not good decisions versus bad decisions. It's better versus worse, all right? And so, you know, with that, keep in mind that you are going to improve. So there is my moment of like, if I can do it, you can do it. But these things are going to happen for you. You are going to eliminate the variables that were standing in your way of a truer and a deeper happiness. And I want that for you. And I know that you want that for yourself. How do I know that? Because I have a crystal ball. Duh. No, just kidding. Because you watch this channel. And that's why, because I made this channel. We want the same things. We want happiness. We want to have a deeper and more meaningful relationship with our partner, if you're lucky enough to have a partner. We want a deeper and more meaningful relationship with our friends, with our family, with our coworker, with people in our town, our city. That's what we want. We want to have a better quality of life, so that when we get to the end, to our eventual deathbed, we can look back at our life and feel proud of ourselves. And you should feel proud of yourself, because you are here and you care enough about yourself to try to make a change. And you don't necessarily have all the tools that you have yet, but you are working on it and you are making an attempt. And whether or not it's the first time that you're making the attempt, or you're making this attempt ... again, I'm glad that you're here. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comment section. Good luck on your journey, and I will see you in the next video.